With Burstman defeated, we get the Danger Wrap, and now we only have one Robot Master to go in the first set of 4, which is Junkman. Now, Junkman has multiple items to find in this stage. The big difference between his and some of the other ones we've already done is there's 2 separate paths. If you take one path, you can get one item, but then you have to take a different path altogether to find another item. The only way to take both paths in one run is to go ahead and either lose a life, or once you've completed the stage, to go back in and then take the other path. We do have the exit ability, so once we've taken that separate path when we come back in, once you've grabbed the item, we can exit right out and go back to our selection screen, which is what I will be doing in this run. This is one of only 2 stages in the whole game where you have to either re-enter or lose a life in order to get both paths in one run. The other one's going to be Shade Man stage in the next set of 4. Now, as far as there's 2 paths in this stage, the first choice we have here is right here. We can either go above there to get one item, which we'll do in the second run of the stage. However, we're going to use the Freeze Cracker to hit the lava right there, break it, go through, drop down, use it again to go ahead and get the S. So now we have all 4 of the Rush letters in this game, and by doing so, we also now have the Super Adapter, which is pretty much, like I said before, kind of a mix between the Power Adapter and the Rush Jet Power Pack, the Jetpack, that we've seen in the other Mega Man games. They kind of combine them both into one. You charge up a shot with it, and you shoot out a fist that pretty much takes out most enemies in 1-2 hits at most, as well as you can then hover with the jetpack, which we'll have to use in order to get certain items in the second set of 4 Robot Master stages. Now, when we get to this part of the stage, we have some of our harder platforming that we've had to deal with so far in the game. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally jump and take a hit from the giant cubes of trash before making a jump over a gap, as well as you don't want to jump on one of the ones with a giant trash cube already on it because it won't move anymore. So destroy it and then jump on the platform. Not really anything too tough. Now we have our battle with Junkman. Now, Junkman isn't too challenging if you can dodge his projectiles. That's probably the biggest challenge. He stays on the right side screen first, and he jumps up and does an earthquake-style thing to the ground, which is a pain because you'll shake a little bit and you'll probably take at least one hit. If you jump in the air before he hits the ground, you'll be able to avoid it. His second main ability is that he forms that giant trash cube and then throws it across the screen at you. You can easily jump over it, head to the opposite side of the screen from it, so that when he comes to the ground, he's always going to come up and destroy that trash cube, in which case you can avoid it. His other big ability is that wave or tornado of trash, which freezes you in place if it hits you. It's not too bad if it does hit you because you're only going to lose 1 hit of extra damage from him. It's a little bit challenging to jump over it though because you've got to have precise timing on it because of how far it stretches. The closer you are to where it shoots out is the better where you want to jump because it's the smallest where it first forms. So you can make the jump over it and avoid it. His other big thing is he jumps across the screen back and forth, very easy to dodge, however he does shoot a little mini cube of trash at you for you to try to avoid. Anytime you can, get your full charges like always, deliver a blast, or you can go ahead and use his weakness if you would like to. His weakness is the Thunderbolt ability. Now, with Junkman defeated, we get the Junk Shield, which happens to be one of those many types of shield things that we've seen in previous Mega Man games. Skullman, Woodman, Plantman, Starman. We've seen it before, we get it again. This one's a little bit different because it forms around you, and then as it hits certain things, pieces of it fall off, so it's not as effective after a few hits. Now, with the first Robot Masters defeated, the first 4, we now have a little bit of an intermission scene where we see Dr. Wily is attacking the Robot Museum, which is kind of a nice, cool homage to the previous Mega Man games. as we'll see that bunch of the different robot masters in the background, as well as they mixed a few different songs together from previous Mega Man titles in one song that plays throughout this stage. We can see some of my favorites, including Pharaoh Man, in the background there, but you saw one was broken. The one that was broken, well, it was Guts Man. Dr. Wily has stolen Guts Man, and we'll get to see him, of course, later on in the run. I don't know what it is, but Dr. Wily loves Guts Man. We now also have to deal with a boss battle, not against a previous robot master, but against a giant fat clown robot that likes to bounce around, and you can shoot his head off. It's an interesting battle, very easy to deal with, because you deliver a full charged up shot to the head and it starts bouncing around the room. You then have to avoid the giant fat suit robot. As it springs around, after a few jumps, it'll pick its head back up, and as soon as it gets it back on its head, you can deliver another full charged up shot and knock it right back off. It'll lay on the ground and you can keep delivering shots to it as it continues to bounce around like mad. It doesn't do too much damage to you. If you have a full thing of health, if you will, you should easily be able to take it out before it even gets half your health depleted. Now, after we leave the Robot Master Museum, as you can see at the main Robot Master screen, 4 new Robot Masters have come in. The thing is, we still have one item left to get in Junkman stage, so we're going to have to go back to that stage first, go ahead and get that item, and then we'll go ahead and continue on with our next Robot Master stage. Like I mentioned before, you could have gone ahead and just lost a life if you wanted to kind of not have to repeat the level at all, or go back into the level, and you could have gotten it in one single run of the stage. Thankfully for us, though, the item that we have to get isn't too far into the stage, so it really isn't too much of a pain to do this little extra backtracking, or what you want to call it, in the level in order to get that next item. Take out the Roach Motel there, the giant thing of trash that these roach robots like to live in, and then head up here to this room. As you can see that machine in the background, we're going to use the Thunderbolt on it, and it allows for these things to start moving. As you can see the chain moving in the background and these platforms moving. I'm going to use the Rush Coil to get up, start heading to the right, and continue going up these set of ladders. Now, as I get to this one on the left side here, I'm just kind of waiting for it as it'll travel upwards. You gotta travel up the ladder a little bit. Once you go through that floor, use it one last time to go ahead and grab this item, which is the Rush Jet. So we now have the Rush Coil and the Rush Jet, classic Mega Man abilities, as we're now gonna head to Turbo Man stage. No, not the doll from the Arnold Schwarzenegger Christmas film. Unfortunately for all of us, we don't have to deal with his faithful companion Booster, who no one wants. I can't believe I just made a Jingle All the Way reference and a play it through. But oh well, I digress. So now in Turbo Man stage, after we make only a little bit into the stage, we have to deal with a giant bulldozer being driven by a robot. Now, the bulldozer doesn't kill you instantly, even though it does have spikes on it, thankfully. So you want to take it out with full blast-up shots. It'll backtrack if you go behind it, if you go through it. It obviously goes slower backwards so you can easily hit it. And then it allows you to go into the next part of the stage. Now, this also happens to be probably one of my least favorite stages in the whole game. Just the cone robots alone, that are very annoying to hit their exact timing on to hit them, is very annoying. It's usually better just to run through them, take the damage as you move on. Now, when you get here, be careful not to fall through the tires, or else you'll have to face another one of the bulldozer robots, and then you'll be stuck back at the beginning, and you'll have to travel back up those beginning ladders and go through this part again. So you want to make sure that you jump over that set of tires on the ground so you don't fall through. Now I'm going to equip the Rush Super Adapter for the first time in this run. Climb up the ladder a little bit, then fly over to this platform over here. Thankfully there's a little bit of a health upgrade there. And then you want to use the Rush Search ability, which I'm going to wait for the robot to jump off there. Then use the Rush search ability. Rush is going to sniff around a little bit, and then he's going to go ahead and dig us up a weapon. Now, this ability that we're getting here is the Rocket Punch. Now, this is what allows you, with the super adapter, to shoot out the fist to take out enemies easily, and it also allows you to hover a little bit longer with the jetpack, so it ends up being a very, very useful item. Now, when you travel up the ladder just a little bit more, you jump off to the right here, and we get to the second of the 2 Proto Man rooms where we meet him. We will meet Proto Man one more time in another room in Shade Man stage, but that time we're going to have to do battle with him. Now, if you want to move through the stage quickly, you can go ahead and just slide through these flames